Did you know you can drive your electric car in the high occupancy lane, the HOV lane, even if it's just you? Well, in some states, only with a time machine, it seems that program is coming to an end. We're going to be talking about policy, not politics, but policy. When it comes barging into my spreadsheet, I have to cover it, and this is no exception. But there's some good news out there too. Tariff reliefs may be on the horizon. One state is reinstating their EV credits, and who knows, maybe we've got some good news on charging as well. We're going to talk about all that and so much more. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. So we're going to start with the bad news. Free ride over EVs in the HOV lanes in New York is gone. This sucks. Free ride's over. State program that allowed them to use electric cars and hybrids driving solo has come to an end. This shouldn't be a surprise. This had an expiration date. It was not meant to be a forever program. It was meant to be a until we get on our feet program. And I would argue we are on our feet. But it's not just Long Island, of course, because California is doing the same thing. California electric drivers lose carpool lane privileges. Good quality website right here. Driver of low emission vehicles can no longer use the carpool lane. Sorry. It was a 2001 incentive to get California drivers into hybrids and EVs. Oh my gosh, if you had an hour commute and you could trim 10, 15 minutes off in a day, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you? Well, now EVs do not cost more than gas counterparts, at least for many models in many cases. It might be confusing because the state recently announced it had extended the program through 2027 because the federal government refused to extend the program, it ended the program. That new program that was voted on by California legislators had to be approved by the federal government. The federal government declined to do so. Unfortunate. This is a better article, this one on CNET. Here's where EV drivers can use the HOV lanes. Well, this is, of course, no longer accurate because the answer is kind of nowhere, but there were a bunch of states. And this is not even a complete list. Arizona, California, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Maryland, New Jersey, New York, and Utah. So I went and looked at some of those to get an idea. And what I found was Maryland, it's over. September 30th was the end. That was the end of it. And if you look at Arizona, much more confusing, but it looks like they will have different plates for you, but you may or may not be able to use them. Probably not. And if you look at Florida, well, they're getting rid of high occupancy lanes altogether. I don't know if they have the ability to do that. Isn't that something that's like required for federal funding? Unclear. But they're saying, yeah, if you've got an EV, go ahead and keep driving in it. I don't care. Also, if you don't have an EV, I don't know, probably just drive in it. I don't care. I know a lot of people who despise the HOV lanes. They say, I want to be in it. Everyone should be in it. The reality is the lane, while it appears empty, is actually handling more cars per hour than if it was just a regular lane. You open it up to everybody, it becomes a parking lot, fewer cars per hour. I know, it's crazy. And if you look, the last one we'll look at here, Georgia. High occupancy lanes, of course, have come to an end. Pretty sure that's right. So that's all bad news. Why don't we get some good news up in here? I could use some good news. One Biden program gets a new life under Trump. Now, there was a lot of gnashing of teeth and wringing of paws, really, because I think these were monsters we were talking about. Before the election, that they spent $5 billion and only built, 100 chargers or 50, some low number. But that was a complete misunderstanding. They hadn't actually spent that money. They had awarded it, but not spent it. The chargers were being built. Well, if Tesla had built them, they would be done. Yes, we know, because included in those figures was Tesla. Tesla was the largest recipient of those charging dollars to build stations in underserved areas of the country along major interstates. this worked. This was a program that worked. Trump's crusade to uproot the Biden administration's big spending for climate program, the $5 billion effort from coast to coast. Trump mocked it as slow to launch, crazy waste of money. He doesn't drive an EV. I mean, I don't think he drives. I don't think he's had a need to drive for a very long time, but I don't think he's qualified to speak on this subject. While complaining that EVs don't go far and cost a fortune, fact check false. But 8 months after Trump's agencies attempted to stanch the flow of EV charger money, an analysis has found that more than 40 states are in the process of unlocking their share of the cash, with deep red Texas and Montana among the first in line. At least 32 say they've gotten a yes from Washington. So even though the $7,500 credit is gone, money seems to have survived. In June, a federal court decision unfroze the money. The freeze of the money was ruled illegal, an outcome that the administration uncharacteristically chose not to appeal. Maybe it's because it disproportionately affects states like Texas and Montana, deep red states. But it also reflects a growing reality. Millions of EVs are expected to hit the road in coming years, regardless of the policies, and the drivers are going to need a place to charge. If you look at the states that are putting it in, it's really states that recognize their adoption rate is going to climb. So we've got a map here further down the page. I'm going to reload to see if that interactive map will load. Here we are. Trump's DOT approves at least 32 states' EV charger programs. So not Alaska, not Maine. Let's scroll down so we can see the other states. All the green ones have charger money approved. And the yellow ones have put in their applications and are awaiting to hear back. That's most of the states, man. And if you look, all these ones in here, these need it. They need them. It's fine for me. I drive a Tesla. Tesla has a very good charging map. Not everyone does. Not everyone has access to the kind of chargers that I do. If a new Tesla charger goes in, it probably can charge any new EV or close to it. But the older ones can't. It can charge my car. So this isn't me being selfish. This is me wanting to see it become an easier process for others. There was a big news thing. I don't remember which channel did it about a year ago where they decided we're going to drive from, I want to say Michigan to Washington, D.C. or New York and see what the experience is like. It's terrible. We didn't know where to charge. We didn't know how to charge. All the chargers take apps. Well, not all of them. Electric Era in Seattle makes chargers that are just tap and go. You can tap with your phone. You can tap with your card. You can do whatever you need to do. Pay. Get the heck out. But that's rare. That's unique that they do that. They need more chargers. Of course, they didn't bring a Tesla on that road trip. Why would they? It would have changed the entire story. So yeah, speaking up slowly. Let's see. When the DOT released new guidance for the program in August, loosening some of the rules on how states can spend it, John Duffy said he didn't agree with subsidizing green energy. And we know that this administration is hostile to anything but fossil fuel. We knew that that would be the case. I told viewers before the election that if you're a single issue voter and your issue is electrification, this would not be the administration for you to choose. No one really is a single issue voter, at least not on this. But if his department must dole out the cash, he wanted to ensure that the chargers are actually built, which I think is more than fair. What I also think is more than is the amount of time we've spent on this. Necessary. More than necessary was what we've spent. Trump is considering significant tariff relief on U.S. auto production. This is good news. It's also rocky. It's also chaotic. Business doesn't like chaos. Business likes certainty. They want to plan 3 years in advance. They want to know that the parts that they're going to get can actually be had. So changing every few months it causes problems. It makes you cancel orders that you then struggle to get back. You might have to pay more. You might have lost some money when you canceled them. It's not great. So let's see. Tariff relief could eliminate costs for major car companies. Commerce Department plans import adjustment offset for U.S. vehicles, and we expect to hear more soon. Signal to car companies around the world is, look, you have final assembly in the US. We're going to reward you. So for Ford, Toyota, Honda, Tesla, GM, those are almost in order of the top 5 domestic producers. They'll be immune to tariffs. That's good. Toyota employs a lot of people in the US. Honda, GM, Ford, they employ a lot of people in the US. We need the parts. We don't always have the parts. Bringing back parts manufacturing takes time. Can't do it overnight. We don't even have the labor to cover it. And I've had a lot of people tell me, yeah, but bots. Great. We don't have the labor to do it. We don't have the bots today. Today is when we need to build the cars. This story is good news. Would have been better if they'd have, looked at it in advance, had industry experts that they would listen to guide them. Anyone from any of those factories would have told you, please don't do this. You will absolutely stomp on my sack. Don't stomp on my sack, por favor. And they would say it that way because it's confusing, but also the right way to say it. Pretty sure that's right. So in the last bit of good news we'll share, and again, this isn't politics, this is policy. Colorado increases the EV rebates. Colorado, what are you doing? Colorado has long had the most generous EV rebates. That's the state where Kyle Connor and his viewers of Out of Spec were lining up to get lease deals on Nissan Leafs for like $19 a month. You asked me, Brian, do you want a Nissan Leaf? I said, no. Well, what if I said the right number? Would you buy one? And I'd say, no, I wouldn't take delivery. What if that number is $19 a month? I'd say, I don't need one, but yes, please. I will find a use for it. Colorado's increasing its rebates for the purchase of electric vehicles beginning in November to offset the loss of the federal credit. Governor Jared Polis announced Thursday the rebates will increase to $9,000 from $6,000 for new EV purchases and leases, and $6,000 from $4,000 on used. That's going to make it a lot easier to get your adoption in if you're in Colorado. If you're in Colorado and you want an EV, you do not have a good excuse not to get one, new or used. So I guess a good excuse would be you can't afford a car at any price. That's fair. And these are maximum figures. There are certainly lower figures. I think it's based on a number of factors. You can't just buy the car, sell it to your wife, sell it to your son, sell it to your other son, sell it to your daughter, sell it to your neighbor, and sell it back. They won't keep doing that. Typically, states say one used sale is all that it can get. One new credit, one used credit, you're done. So who knows? Transportation is a leading source of emissions in Colorado, making widespread EV adoption essential to achieving our climate goals. Makes sense that Coloradans have made it clear they want EVs, and that Congress revoking key incentives to save us money. Well, we're going to step up. These increased incentives will help ensure EVs remain affordable in Colorado as we work toward nearly 1 million on our roads by 2030. So there you go. That's all good news. Guys, if you enjoy this kind of analysis, please help me out. A bunch of ways you can do it: Patreon, YouTube, X as a channel member, channel subscriber, or Patreon patron. Those are all great ways. Or you can just like and subscribe. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. So what did I miss? What did I misunderstand? Leave it in the comments below, and everybody else, stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots on the Flippity Flop.